Question A, yes. Float price dollar equal to 25.5. Is that valid or invalid?
The number is a float, but the price has a dollar sign in the variable name has a dollar sign in it, so it's invalid.
Yeah, invalid variable name.
Exactly, right. Invalid because the variable is.
For variable names to be valid, it has to have an underscore 0 to 9 and lowercase alphabet as the first letter. So that would be invalid.
Yes, for the variable to be valid, it has to follow the rules for the variables. And one of the rules is no special characters. Only special character allowed is the underscore. So this is this character dollar sign is not allowed. So that for that reason, it's invalid. Very good. Going on to part B, is that statement valid?
Valid.
Valid is right. Very good. Part C, is it valid?
Invalid.
Invalid. Why?
Because it has a division sign. That's not a variable name.
Right. No special character allowed in the variable. So x/y cannot be valid variable. Part D.
Invalid. Because it has one of the reserved keywords, char.
Keyword.
It has one. Yeah, it has one of the reserved keywords in the variable name char, and that can be used.
Okay, that's one answer. Anybody, others agree with that?
I see, Professor, that it's valid.
Okay, valid. Why do you think?
Why it's valid?
What's that?
Why do I say it's valid?
No, I mean, you don't have to explain why something is valid. But the other student said it's invalid because the keyword char is in there. So how do you argue against that?
Oh, it's not in the name. It's just like the other questions before. It's just forgot the name of it, but it's just explaining what it is.
Right.
Like,
okay. Right. You got it. So let me explain to the other student. This is valid. The first char, the char is only part of the name. Excuse me.
Call from
Hello? One sec. Yes. All right, I'm sorry. That was some urgent matter, so I have to handle that. So the variable name here is first char. So char is just part of that name. And if char is a name by itself, then it would be invalid. It's just the letters char are part of the variable name, and that doesn't make it invalid. So it is valid.
Also, if char was by itself, then that would make it invalid.
Yes, if I use char by myself like this, you know, if I do that, that's invalid. I cannot use char as a variable because it's a keyword in the language.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let me change it back. Okay. Problem number 2, write C++ statements to store the indicated value in the memory. Okay, go ahead. Write it on your framework area for both A and B. Okay, Neil has the right answer. Neil, you can also write it all in one statement. So try doing that.
Okay.
Xavier has the right one. Keep going to the part B if you're done with part A. Okay, Carlos Gill has the right answer. Christian Barron has the right answer, except the semicolons are missing. Each statement must end with semicolon. Okay, Xavier Roca has the right answer. Dave has the right answers. Dave, you can write them in single statements. You don't need to, I mean, what you have written is right, but it'll be simplified if you write it in one statement for each part. Montar, you have your 2A, in part 2A, you have float X semicolon. That semicolon should be removed. Semicolon is needed only at the end of the statement. So only after the 41.82, you need semicolon. So remove the previous semicolon.
Got it, Professor.
All right. Those who have done with the problem number 2, go on to problem 3. Montarin, you have same error in the second part, part B. I don't know, actually maybe you're writing that's 2 separate statements. I think that's what you're doing. Why don't you make it all one statement like the previous? So delete the var, you have var twice, delete one of them. No, it's incorrect. You don't need the var twice. Right. Okay, now it's correct. All right, I'm checking others. Okay, Carlos Gill has Problem 2, right? Uh, 3B. Okay, Carlos has 3A and B correct. Very good. Dave Chintan, you have your answers are not quite right. Float is misspelled to begin with, and you can write one statement to store 41.82 in the memory. You can write the declaration and the assignment in the same statement. Try to do that. And part B is also wrong. You have double quotes. You don't write double quotes for the data. So work on that. Okay, Kevin, our counselor is right for problem 2. Okay, Christian Barron has the right answers for number 2. Neil, problem number 3A, the very first line should be deleted. You're not supposed to assign a value to X. X already has a value. You just need to display, and the variable is not X, it's num. You need to display the value of num. So do not assign anything to any variable. These variables already have values. So delete that first line altogether. No, you don't even declare it. Indirectly, the problem tells you that num is a variable that already been declared. It's been declared, it's been assigned a value. So you don't do anything other than what it tells you to do. You write a statement to display the value of the memory cell num with the text value equal to in front of it. Value equal to should be in front of it. For part B also, do not declare the variable and do not assign a value. Just do what it says.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
So for like do you have to write out value equals to, or just can you put value and the equal sign?
Yeah, the equal sign. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Value and equal sign. Anthony Pierre, you have problem 2 correct, but 3A is wrong because it says you need to display the value of num with the text value equal to in front of it. You're not doing the text.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right. Okay, Jasmine Rodriguez has number 2 right, and go ahead and work on 3. Carlos Gil, you have 3A and B correct, but C is not. So work on that. Read what it says. Neil, part 3A is not quite right. Three A is not right. You need to make some adjustments there. Dave, your problem number 2 is still not right. If you're writing more than one statement, then you can only write one statement per line. You cannot write several statements on one line. You need to make corrections, make changes there. Kevin, 3A, problem number 2 is right, but 3A is not quite right. Something is missing. And Neil, 3A is not correct. 3B also has errors. Carlos Gil, you have errors in 3A, 3B. You have errors there. Olga Jimenez, you don't have any work done. Are you working on them? Montaran, you have errors in 3A. Xavier Roca, your 3A is wrong, 3B is also wrong. The arrows have to point the right way, and also the text you have written is incorrect. That's not the right way to include text. Christian Barron, number 2 is correct, but 3A is not correct. Neil, 3A is incorrect.
Call from 197-334-69387.
All right, I'm going to go over number 2 now. So those who have done number 2, just ignore me and go ahead with your work. Problem number 2A. To store 41.82 in the memory, I have to declare a variable as float, call it X. Now I can put a semicolon to conclude this statement. Instead, I can write equal to 41.82 and then semicolon. That way I'm doing the declaration and assignment at the same time, and that is valid. Part B, same thing, I had to declare char type variable, val, you make up any name, equal to the ampersand symbol should be in quotes. Any character data should be in quotes, and then semicolon. So that's all number 2 is. Okay, I checked 3A for most of you, and many of you had it right, but I'm going to go with 3A. We need to display, if you're going to display the value of num, simply display, then it will be cout, arrow pointing the left way, and then num. That will display the value, but just displaying the value of num will be confusing to anybody looking at that display. So we should put some text in front of it explaining what that value is. So that would be cout value equal to is my text. Any text I want to put as part of the output should have double quotes. Anything double quoted would be printed as is in the output. And then another arrow, and then num. So every item you put in the cout statement should be separated by this arrow, and put the semicolon now. So that's the correct way. Value equal to should be in double quotes, and then num.
So for number 3A, Professor, you don't want to like show it on a new line. That's where I was confused. It was it said preceded by.
Yeah, it says preceded by. That doesn't mean on a separate line. It means in front of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I just read it wrong.
Okay. So the value equal to should be in front of the value. The text value equal to should be in front of the value. That's what it says. Write one statement. In part B, it says write one statement to display the integer value stored in the memory cells X and Y. So indirectly, it means X and Y are already declared as integer type variables, and they already have some values. So you don't declare and you don't assign any value. You do only what it says. You write one statement to display the values of X and Y, one below the other, after a beep sound. So there should be a beep sound first, and then the value of X should appear on one line. The value of Y should appear on another line. You need to write the statement to make that happen. That's all you need to do. Do not do anything other than those. Okay, the declaration, assignment, those are all already done. I'm checking everybody's answer now. According to the problem, the beep sound should go first. And then the value of X should display on one line, and then Y should display on another line. Okay, make sure you do that in that order.
So then after beep sound, it's X and then new line and then Y, right?
Yes. The
So
beep sound doesn't go on any line, it's just a sound.
right, yeah.
And then X will go on the screen somewhere, Y should be on the next line.
Okay, so is mine's correct now? Because I put the beep sound in front of X.
Okay, Neil, X. Right, yours is correct now.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. I'm checking 3B. Kevin is not right. 3B is wrong. Anthony Pierre, your 3B is wrong. You're not putting the double quotes in the places it needs to be.
Professor 3B needs double quotes.
Well, some of the things you write need double quotes. Not all of
Okay.
it, not the entire statement.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Figure out, otherwise I'll explain. Arya Thapa, are you there?
Yes, Professor.
You're not doing anything?
I tried to write it on the board, but it was not allowing me. So I'm doing on my notebook.
Okay. I hope you're able to follow us because I'm not able to check your work.
Yeah, I'm doing on my notebook right now, and I'm checking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Montaran, the problem says after the value, there should be equal sign. So you had to include equal sign within the double quotes in 3A. Dave Chintan, your number 3A is wrong. Val equal to should be in double quotes. You're missing the double quotes in 3A. Carlos, still you are missing double quotes. Certain things need to be in double quotes and you're missing. And part C is wrong. According to the problem, the value should be in 2 tab positions, and you don't have that. Let me explain the tab positions on the screen. It was explained on the lecture video, but I'm going to explain again. On the screen, so if this is your screen, then there are hidden tabs. So hidden tab positions are there. These are tab positions on the screen. So if you want to display something on the first tab position, then now if you just see out X, let's say X has a value of 25. If you just see out the X, the 25 will appear here at the very beginning of the screen. Instead, if you say see out tab over and then X, to tab over, you need double quoted \T, double quote. That will give you tab. So this will move the cursor to the first tab position. So if you do this and then write X, semicolon, that will now display the 25 in the first tab position. If you want to get to 2 tabs, then you need \T, double quotes. This is just example. I'm not saying you need to use this. That would put the 25 not here, here, second tab position. Okay, so that's how the tabs work. You can throw in any number of tabs. Similarly, \n in double quote would mean new line, which means go to the next line and write. But instead of \n, you could use ENDL. If I do this, then it would go to new line and write X instead of current line. If the current line is here, if the cursor will be here after writing this number. And if the next out statement says go to new line, that means here. On the new line, it'll write the value again, 25. So that's how \n and tabs work. So in this part C, you're supposed to write the B1 and B2 in 2 different tab positions. That means B1 should be in the first tab position and B2 should be in the next tab position. That's part C. I'm still checking part B. Carlos Guild, part B is still incorrect. Okay, now it's right. Okay, Carlos says part C right, very good. Those who are done with the number 3 can go on to 4. Okay, Neil has 3, A, B, C, all correct. Very good. Christian Barron, 3B is incorrect. Xavier Roca, 3B is incorrect. We don't need X equal to Y equal to, but you need to do what the problem says, which is one below the other, and the beep sound. Xavier Roca, 3C is incorrect. And 3B, you're supposed to make a beep sound and you're not doing it. Dave, your part B is incorrect. 3B is incorrect. Anthony Pierre, 3B is right, 3C is not. Jasmine Rodriguez, 3B is right, 3C is missing. All right, I'm going to explain 3B. Remember, you have to write the statement to achieve the task exactly as described in the problem. So 3B says you need to write the values of X and Y, one below the other, after a beep sound. So that means I need to make the beep sound first, and then go to a tab and write the value of B1, then go to another tab and write B2, two different tab positions. So C out statement begins, and then, 1 second, it's a bit too thick. And then to make the beep sound, double quote, \A, double quote. That'll make the beep sound. Now, I assume all of you watched the video. If you didn't watch the video, things will be only confusing in this discussion class. You won't learn anything because what you're supposed to learn from the video, you have to learn that first before coming to class. So it was explained in that video lecture and in your book that \A creates your beep sound, but anything with the backslash should have double quote around it. It can only go within double quoted text. After that, another arrow, and I need to go to first tab position. So therefore I need \T. Now instead, you could write so the same answer this way: C out, double quote, \A, \T in double quote. You can combine the backslashes into one double quoted text. And then value of X has to go. And after that, we need to go to new line. To go to new line, another arrow and ENDL or \N in double quotes. \N in double quotes is same as ENDL. After that, Y, semicolon. So this way it'll make the beep sound, then go to tab position and write the X, then go to new line. Oh, new line. Yeah, the tab was not needed here. All right, but I added tab, which is not going to make it wrong. I'm still doing what the problem says. So if you want to do the minimum of what the problem says, which is what I recommend you do, then it will be \A in double quotes, and then X, and then \N Y. That's the correct answer, doing exactly what the problem says. 3C says B1 should be written in a tab position, B2 should be written in another tab position. So part C would be C out and then tab. Tab first, then write B1. When you write the variable B1, you don't put double quotes. Double quoted things are to be written as is. But when you put backslash, that has a different meaning. Backslash in double quote has a different meaning. Backslash T would mean tab. Backslash A means alert sound. When you're writing values of variable, the variable name should be just placed there. B1 is the variable name. The value of B1 will be written. After that, I need to go to another tab position. So therefore, another arrow, double quote, backslash T, that'll tab over again. And now write B2, arrow B2, semicolon. That's how you write that. Okay, so some of you got it right, some of you were struggling, but remember, computer program means things have to be exactly the way it's supposed to be. If you just miss any double quote or backslash, anything you miss, the whole thing is going to fail. So you need to pay attention to every little detail. Now the problem number 4 says write a complete program. Now complete program should begin with the main. Anytime the problem says write complete program, you should begin with main and write the curly brackets, and all of your C++ statements should be within the curly brackets. And there are 2 lines you need to write before the main if you are going to execute the program. In order to execute the program, you need 2 more lines at the before the main. So here it says write a complete program. That means you only have to begin with the main and write the entire program. So remember, you need to write main and then the curly brackets. All that is necessary when you're writing complete program. Okay, so I'm going to check all of your work on that. Carlos, you need to begin with the main. So also your parentheses are not quite done yet. The parentheses are not quite done. Focus on that. Neil, your expression needs parentheses. I know the parentheses have not been explained in the lecture yet, but I'll explain if you cannot get it. Multiplication will be done before addition and subtraction. So therefore, you don't need parentheses in front of the multiplications. Multiplications will be done before addition and subtraction. But
quick question, Professor.
Yeah.
So for what you were saying about main, does something have to be in the parentheses when you're writing the program?
The very first statement is going to be main, and then empty parentheses. Let me put that on the board. your in your complete program, main, and then empty parentheses next to it. This will be the first line. And then on a new line, you have to write a curly bracket. And then you write your C++ statements, then close with another curly bracket in the opposite way. All your C++ statements must be inside these two brackets. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Christian Barron, you need semicolon behind each statement. Every statement must end with semicolon. Neil, your program is not quite right. You need parentheses. So think about where you need parentheses. Neil, that's an improvement, but still incorrect. Xavier Roker, it's almost right, but the expression is not correctly written. Kevin, the expression needs additional parentheses. Okay, this the parentheses business, I think, is not finished yet in there. I think it's coming up in later in section 2.3 or 4, I don't remember. So some of you are not getting the parentheses right, and I'm going to explain, but
Excuse me, Professor.
yeah.
For when you're writing like the final statement where you write "see out" and that for this program, do you have to end it off with a end L or \n, or is that optional?
That's optional. I write, you know, at every after every CL statement, I make it a habit of writing the ENDL so that any future writing will be on a new line.
So if I put the \n, that's also to leave it \n.
Yeah.
That would be also just fine.
Yes, backslash
Okay.
n in double quotes is same as ENDL. But backslash n should be in double quotes. Okay, yeah, that'll be correct if you put in double quotes. Monitoring, the expression is 7x minus 5y, not 7x times 5y. Okay, we are getting close to 10:30, so I'm going to explain. Some of you have almost correct program, but no one has perfectly right.
I changed mine, Professor.
Who, Neil? Okay, let me see.
Brother, do you look at my program?
Yeah, I'm looking at program for number 4.
No, Anthony.
Carlos is not completely right yet. You need some adjustments on the expression. And trying to check Neil's. Okay, I'm looking at Neil's. Yeah, you got it. Neil got it right. But I'm going to explain now.
Wait, Professor, can you look at mine real quick? I don't know if I got it right. Anthony.
Anthony, okay. Anthony Pierre, right?
Yeah.
No.
Please.
Okay. Anthony Pierre, sum 2 equal to x times y. Yeah, that's right. That's another way of writing it. You got it right. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so 2 students got it right. All right, I'm going to explain now. So this program has to begin with the main. So you begin with the main parentheses, empty parentheses, and then curly bracket on the next line. Remember, these have to be on new lines. That's a rule for the programmers to follow. And so the curly bracket will be on a line by itself. You don't write anything there, and not go to a new line and start writing your declaration. All variable declarations should be at the top of the program. I need 3 variables, so all of them needs to be float. So I say float x. I can even assign the value right there, x equal to 3.2, comma y. I'm declaring y and assigning the value 4.5. You can do that. You can declare and assign in the same line. And then I put a comma, and I have to declare a 3rd variable for the answer. So I can call it ans, semicolon. So here I have declared x, y, and ans as 3 variables that are float type, and then I assigned data to x and y. The 3.2 and 4.5 are data. So data should be always assigned to variables first. You should not use data directly in the expression. They should assign them to variable. So it makes sense to use x and y itself as the name. Now I need to write a statement in which the computation will be done and the result will be stored in ans. That will be ans equal to 7x minus 5y. The 7 doesn't have to be stored in a memory because 7 is a constant in the problem. The problem itself has 7 and 5 within it. So that they are considered to be constants and they don't have to be stored in variables. Only the 3.2 and 4.5 need to be stored in variable names. So I can write the 7 directly in this expression times x, and then minus, I don't need parentheses around 7x because multiplication will be done before the subtraction. So 7x minus 5 times y. You cannot write 7x like that, like you do in algebra. It has to be 7 times x. The times symbol is necessary. Now this whole quantity needs to be divided by x times y. So I need parentheses around the whole thing. Otherwise, it'll be dividing the y. If I put a slash next to it, it'll be dividing y by that value. So I need parentheses for this, and then slash x times y. If you write that x times y this way, then you'll be only dividing by x and then multiplying by y. The result will be multiplying by y. So that's incorrect. These order of operation details are I'm not sure exactly whether you have seen that video or not, but it's all in one of the video lectures. So the x times y needs to be in parentheses, otherwise you will be dividing by x only. So now it's very clear that this entire quantity should be divided by this entire quantity, and you have to make sure of that. Semicolon to end that statement. Now finally I need to display the answer. So C out, double quote, expression equal to, double quote, and then ands, expression equal to or answer equal to, whatever you want to say that, you can say that, ands, and then you can put semicolon right there. It's not wrong, but I like to put an ENDL at the end of every one of my cout statement, so that later if I have another cout statement, you can throw cout statements in your program more than once. So any other later cout statement will write on a new line. That's what I'm making sure. But it's not important. It's not necessary that you do that. Okay, so now I can finish that with a closing bracket. If you want to run this program, then you need to throw additional statements at the top. You saw that in the video. You need to say pound include IO stream in angle bracket. IO stream should be in angle bracket. And there will be no semicolon there. That's not a C++ statement. That's an include statement. It basically telling the system to include the library called IO stream. And in that library, the cout is defined. So if you miss that, if you don't write that, system will not understand the cout. And then using, not pound, I'm sorry, no pound, using namespace std. This means you're saying I'm using new standard, and that requires a semicolon at the end. And then your compiler would tell you to add one more statement here, system.pause, something like that, system. I forgot exactly what it was. It is that is because your compiler needs that. If you don't, and it will actually throw that in by itself. When you use your compiler and start typing your program, it'll automatically give you this statement here, and the main, this, and the brackets, and this system pause. It'll give you those statements automatically. But you need to add this using namespace std. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you that. It doesn't write that for you. So you need to write that at the top. And then you write your statements in here. And then the program will be ready. And so you have a project due, which is writing a program like this one. I just did a very simple, very elementary program and running it. Remember, everything has to be exactly right, otherwise your program will not run. All those semicolons, if you miss anything, it won't work. So there are two parts. The second part is basically asking you to make a mistake and see what happens. So you need to combine the two outputs. Your video explains how to combine them. You just have to take these screenshots and paste them to a Word document to create one document out of the two outputs. Both outputs should be showing on one document, and then you can upload that. It's a very elementary project. It shouldn't take more than half an hour if you know what you're doing. But if you make errors, then you're going to spend time fixing it. So you have a project and you have a homework. The homework is now shorter this time because in that lecture you learned how to run a program. Most of the time was spent on running a program. Very little time was spent on learning the other material. So therefore the homework is going to be short, but you have two things to do, projects and homework. Both of them are due in the next class. All right, that's all I needed to tell you. Any other question?
Yeah, Professor.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the include IO stream and using namespace STD, which one is going on top? The include IO stream is on top of using namespace, or is okay?
Include IO stream should be first.
Okay, so that's the very first thing you should add when you're about to start programming, correct?
Right, right. In every program, count include will be the very first thing. Yes.
Okay.
All right. The system pause. Let me explain that. The purpose of this is if you run it without this, the program will run, but the output will come up on a new screen, right? When the program works, the output will show up on a new black screen. That black screen will show up and then immediately disappear if you don't have this. This is going to make it stay. By pausing everything, it's going to make that screen stay so that you can look at the answer. And that's because this compiler needs that. So remember to throw that in, but your compiler would automatically add that. And this would be at the bottom. Remember, it shouldn't be somewhere else. It should be at the bottom so that it'll execute everything and then pause. Anything else? Okay. But if you have any other question, I mean, I'll recommend, doing at least part of the assignment or part of the project, something you should get started before 3 o'clock today, so that you have a chance to ask your question at 3 o'clock office hour. If you do the project now, then if you run into some problem, you have a chance to ask question in my office hours. All right. I strongly advise you to do the project before 3 o'clock. It should take a few minutes. It shouldn't be very long. But you can run into a question, something you can be looking at the program and trying to figure out very simple error, and you never figure it out. And then you need somebody's help. So like I said before, it has to be perfectly right. Otherwise it won't run. So just some missing quote or missing double quote, missing semicolon, missing comma can be the reason why the program is not working. And it's so hard to figure out sometimes, and you need help. So I strongly advise you to do this program before 3 o'clock so that you can get help.